Luke 24. And on the first day of the week, at early dawn, they came to the tomb, bringing the spices which they had prepared, and they found the stone rolled away from the tomb. And having entered, they did not find the body of Adoni Yahusha. And it came to be, as they were perplexed about this, that see, men stood by them in radiant garments, and becoming frightened, and bowing their faces to the earth, these said to them, Why do you seek the living among the dead? He is not here, but has been raised. Remember how he spoke to you when he was still in Galilee, saying, The Son of Adam has to be delivered into the hands of sinners, and be impaled, and the third day rise again. And they remembered his words. And having returned from the tomb, they reported all this to thee and to all the rest. And it was Miriam from Magdala, and Joanna, and Miriam the mother of Jacob, and the rest with them, who told this to the emissaries. And their words appeared to them to be nonsense, and they did not believe them. But Kepha arose and ran to the tomb, and stooping down, he saw the linen wrappings lying by themselves. And he went away home, marveling at what took place. And see, 2 of them were going that same day to a village called Emmaus, which was 12 kilometers from Jerusalem. These were a married couple, Yahusha's aunt and uncle. See John 19:25, to see the man Clopa was married to, Yahusha's aunt Miriam. And they were talking to each other of all this which had taken place. And it came to be, as they were talking and reasoning, that Yahusha himself drew near and went with them. But their eyes were restrained, so that they did not know him. And he said to them, What are these words you are exchanging with each other as you are walking, and you are sad? And the one whose name was Cleophas, answering, said to him, Are you the lone visitor in Jerusalem who does not know what took place in it these days? And he said to them, What? And they said to him, Concerning Yahusha of Nazareth, who was a prophet mighty in deed and word before Elohim and all the people, and how the chief priests and our rulers delivered him to be condemned to death and impaled him. We, however, were expecting that it was he who was going to redeem Yisrael. But besides all this, today is the 3rd day since these things took place. But certain women of ours, who arrived at the tomb early, also astonished us. When they did not find his body, they came saying that they had also seen a vision of messengers, who said, He was alive. And some of those with us went to the tomb and found it, as also the women had said, but they did not see him. And he said to them, O thoughtless ones, and slow of heart, to believe in all that the prophets have spoken. Was it not necessary for the Mashiach to suffer these and to enter into his esteem? And beginning at Moshe and all the prophets, he was explaining to them in all the scriptures the things concerning himself. And they approached the village where they were going, and he seemed to be going on. But they urged him strongly, saying, Stay with us, for it is toward evening, and the day has declined. And he went in to stay with them. And it came to be, when he sat at the table with them, having taken the bread, he blessed, and having broken, he was giving it to them. And their eyes were opened, and they recognized him, and he disappeared from their sight. And they said to each other, Was not our heart burning within us as he was speaking to us on the way, and as he was opening the scriptures to us? And rising up that same hour, they returned to Jerusalem, and found the 11, and those who were with them, gathered together, saying, Adoni was truly raised, and has appeared to Shimon. And they related what took place on the way, and how he was recognized by them at the breaking of the bread. And as they were saying this, Yahusha himself stood in the midst of them, and said to them, Shalom to you. And being startled and frightened, they thought they had seen a phantom. And he said to them, Why are you troubled? And why do doubts arise in your hearts? See my hands and my feet, that it is I myself. Handle me and see, for a phantom does not have flesh and bones, as you see I have. And saying this, he showed them his hands and his feet. And while they were still not believing for joy and marveling, he said to them, "Have you any food here?" And they gave him a piece of a broiled fish and some honeycomb. And taking it, he ate in their presence. And he said to them, "These are the words which I spoke to you while I was still with you, that all have to be filled that were written in the Torah of Moshe and the prophets and the Psalms concerning me." Then he opened their minds to understand the scriptures and said to them, "Thus it has been written, and so it was necessary for the Mashiach to suffer and to rise again from the dead the third day, and that repentance and forgiveness of sins should be proclaimed in his name to all nations, beginning at Jerusalem. And you are witnesses of these things. And see, I am sending the promise of my Father upon you, but you are to remain in the city of Jerusalem until you are clothed with power from on high." And he led them out as far as Bethania, and lifting up his hands, he blessed them. And it came to be, while he was blessing them, that he was parted from them and was taken up into the sky. And they, having bowed down to him, returned to Jerusalem with great joy, and were continually in the Kodesh place, praising and blessing Elohim.